Thank you, Commander, for so thoroughly and brutally dispatching my enemies. But now I'm afraid you have outlived your usefulness. I will not say das Vedanya, Commander, as I can assure you, we will never meet again.
Get your hand off your card, because I've got something that's gonna blow you the away.
Welcome back to 2021, everyone. Once again, Dream SMP drama is in the news. For those who are actually outside the last few years, the Dream SMP was a group of YouTubers who would play Minecraft with Dream at the helm. The Dream SMP era was honestly one of the most bizarre eras of Minecraft YouTube. In only a few years, there was all kinds of scandals and dramas. A lot of it was pretty nonsensical and pointless, like Dream making some slightly offensive jokes his majority young teenage audience had a huge problem with. And the other was a guy not even surviving a day on the team for the Dream SMP because he was exposed for being a predator. Dream also faced a number of his own predator allegations, but after putting out a video disproving all of it, he cleared his name. But because it's fun to hate on Dream and he sucks, which to be fair he does, I guess we can still just call him a predator because it's funny. One of the many YouTubers that Dream made content with was Tommyinnit, but they had a falling out about a year or so ago, and they haven't really been on speaking terms since. And Tommy would also make jokes about Dream being a predator, so it's pretty clear that these guys just don't like each other at all anymore. Getting back to 2025, just a few days ago, when he was asked who his least favorite person to meet was, he said Mizkif, saying that he's one of these guys that you didn't even need to talk to hate. And honestly, I agree. Like, who even watches Mizkif? What does this man even do? Also, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but I didn't know how. But you know Mizkif's profile picture? It's that shot from the blacked shoot with his face on it. Well, it turns out the face on that profile picture is a photo of him when he was 10. And for those unaware, it is a crime to Photoshop the faces of children onto stars, because it's a form of simulated CP. Sure, it's cropped, but if I combine these two images now, right in front of you, I could become a registered sex offender and get serious time in prison. And Mizkif has just been chilling with this profile picture for like the past 5 years, and nobody talks about it. There's also that situation where he investigated himself and found himself innocent. So yeah, this guy sucks. Like, there's no way around it. Anyways, of course he responds saying that, when I met Tommyinnit, he was actually the worst guy I've ever met. XQC in his eternal wisdom, being friends with Mizkif, watches the stream and says, both these people are cringe. Both these people are cringe. Both cringe, which Tuxtero reports, and Tommyinnit later quote retweets. To be more cringe than Tommyinnit is pretty hard, but you pulled it off, pal. Showing a picture of him with a iced up Trump t-shirt, shaking Trump's hand. XQC responds stating, from doing streams in my basement to doing a stream with the president. How is that a diss? You went from writing Dream for a living to making jokes to teenage girls. Lock in. What? I hate this idea that if you've accomplished a lot, it suddenly means that you can't be criticized. In dick riding, they were friends and business associates. They made content together. But this tweet would lead to an absolute truth nuke. Dream quote retweets this with a meme that states, Dream SMP stands, growing up or becoming a Tommyinnit fan.
Nothing prompted that.
Why are you f***ing here? Get back to playing Minecraft on your dying channel, you f***ing freak. I want you all to look at this tweet and bask in the glorious irony. And now we have Tommyinnit's latest video as of me recording this narration, titled Dream.
Hello, this video is a message to Dream. If you've been off the internet the past couple days and haven't kept up, basically, if you're one of my subscribers, Dream has called you a slur.
Good. Now, a lot of people have things to say about using the R slur.
And you do not just throw it around. It's impossibly immature and reckless and says such a shit.
I'm sorry, unfortunately, we are out of time. Tom, it was great having you on. Everyone should check out his website, uglyredfs.com.
And in my opinion, I 100% agree, and that you should never call somebody who's actually intellectually disabled with someone like Down syndrome that word to try and punch down and make fun of them. But at the same time, I feel like giving words like this so much weight is exactly like people keep saying them. Just 50 or 60 years ago, words like stupid, dumb, and idiot were all also words that were used to describe people who were intellectually disabled, just like the R slur.
3 grades of deficiency are recognized. Moderately retarded individuals are referred to as morons. Those who are severely retarded are classed as imbeciles, and the very severely retarded are termed idiots.
But for whatever reason, the R slur is the one that kept its weight and stayed offensive for whatever reason. I think part of it has to do with like the gutturalness of the word itself. Stupid, dumb, and idiot all feel kind of softer to say, while the R word is deep, like it's impactful when somebody calls you that. It's a word that sounds like it has impact. But like I said, the reason why we call people stupid, dumb, idiots is because years ago, people were mocking each other's intelligence, comparing them to people who had intellectual disabilities like Down syndrome, because those used to be the medical terms used to refer to people who had those intellectual disabilities. But nobody considers that when they're calling somebody those words. And it's the same with the R word. When people call Keemstar a bald retard, which comprises a lot of people who are openly left-wing, do you think their intention is to make a mockery of the people your mother works with? No, they're just saying funny words on the internet. For a long time, the F slur was something you could never say. Now, a bunch of people on the left and people who are actually gay just ironically call each other faggots, and now it's not really a big deal if somebody calls you a faggot. I'm seeing the same going on with the T slur for trans people. Trans people are now starting to say it ironically, meaning that the words of people who are actually transphobic are less impactful now because they don't have a slur that's deeply impacting and emotional for the trans people they're insulting online. But yeah, that's just my spiel on the R word. I understand why it makes people uncomfortable, but if you also call people stupid idiots, you're not morally superior to someone who calls other people retards. Because when you call somebody stupid, you're using the same terms made to define people who are on the highest echelons of mental disability. Dream definitely has a reason not to like Tommyinnit, but he's going about it in one of the worst ways possible. I do definitely understand why Dream doesn't like Tommyinnit. For example, him full on just calling him a pedophile is a joke. That's really not something you joke about. Even if I hate somebody, I'm not gonna go online and say, oh, that guy likes little kids, because that's fucked up. Even if you hate someone, if you see people making up false accusations as jokes or actual claims, it shouldn't sit right to you. I know for a fact it doesn't sit right with me, because having the internet think you're a predator when in reality you're not is extremely emotionally challenging. Being a predator on the internet, regardless of who you are, means that there's going to be a group of people who genuinely wish you were dead and might even try to dox and harass your family out of some sense of vigilante justice. I also think this because, in my opinion, one of my least favorite feelings I've ever felt was being falsely accused of something. When everyone in the room thinks you did something, when in reality you know 100% you didn't. And even when you show people proof you didn't do anything, they're already riled up, so they're less likely to accept it because they still want to be mad at something. Going back to Tommy's video, he says that when he was 16, Dream gave him advice, and throughout their relationship, he held this over his head. We don't have any access to any of these private DMs. I have no idea if this is true or not, and it definitely could have happened to where Dream was kind of like, oh, well, actually, I helped you create your YouTube career when you were 16, so maybe you kind of owe this one to me. But I just don't have enough proof to really say definitively or not this is a true accusation. The very next point he makes is him kind of flipping it on Dream, saying, well, if it wasn't for me, then you wouldn't have been nearly as successful. And here I disagree.
The Dream SMP, a lot of your success just wouldn't have happened without me.
Nope.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure the Dream SMP was composed of like nearly 100 people. In the timeline where Dream never brought you onto his stream, I'm pretty sure his success wouldn't have been too different without you. It's like if Carl went up to Mr. Beast and was like, Jimmy, if it wasn't for me, you'd have like half the subscribers you have now. And that just isn't the case. The Mr. Beast channel was created because Mr. Beast made it happen, along with a team of people. Just like how Dream started off on his own and built up his own channel and later on invited more members. And I'm not saying this to discredit Tommy's success. I don't at all think he was dick riding Dream. I think he earned the subscribers he has, and he's continuing to earn them, but acting like he was the driving force for a decent portion of Dream's popularity, I just don't think that's the case.
You harassed my mum as she was going through a divorce. The worst time of her life.
When the f did this happen? So this harassment that Tommy says Dream sent to his mom consisted of this one DM. The context here is that Tommyinnit put out a video making fun of Dream where he makes jokes about him being a predator and mocks his stutter. Now because Tommyinnit's mom is on Twitter, which is just kind of funny, I would not want my mom on Twitter around where all the freaks are. But anyways, she started getting flack from Dream's stans who were calling Tommyinnit a ableist because he was mocking Dream's stutter. So Dream reached out to his mom, I assume to try and clear things up, starting off by defending her, saying that he didn't agree with what his stans were saying, but he also said there were some things in the video that he didn't agree with, like being called a predator, and he felt the video would just make things worse for him and his family. I wouldn't even call this harassment or even out of the blue. If Tommy had put the video out and then instead of reaching out to Tommy, he reached out to his mom and started expressing his issues with the video, that would be a bit psychotic, but she was being harassed by Dream stans, so I do understand the logic behind why he reached out and contacted her. Also, Tommy bringing up the fact that she was going through a divorce, what does that fucking have to do with anything? It's pretty clear that Tommy here is just trying to make Dream look as bad as possible, bringing up the fact that his mom was going through something at the time Dream sent this message, when it was actually just one message, and there's an understandable reason why he reached out to her, even if it is a little bit strange. He also talks about the situation with George not found. I'm not touching that. Go watch Turkey Tom's video about the subject. And then he ends off the video saying that Dream is incapable of taking responsibility for his actions, which is definitely true. For the majority of his responses, despite the one good one, have all either been lies, him shifting the blame, or making excuses. And there are definitely cases where it was fair to do that, and has worked with intellectually disabled people in the past. My opinion is that I don't really mind when people say it, unless the insult is targeted to someone who actually has Down syndrome, or other similar mental conditions. If you go up to somebody with Down syndrome and call them the R word, but if you say Keemstar is a bald retard, who really cares? Well, I guess this guy, but in conclusion, Dream sucks, and Tommyinnit also sucks, and he sounds like he's constantly morally grandstanding. That's it. Now get a job.
Chỉ có chúng mình yêu nhau thôi. Mai đây anh cách biệt phương trời.
You know what? Just fuck you. Why do you have to come in here every day and just be the way that you are?